Well, greetings again, everyone. As you can see, since we're back to the normal quality of setup here, not the crappy iPhone one with the terrible audio and the bad quality video, I have a new hardware to be able to produce videos again and everything, because my mid-2010 Mac Pro, if you didn't watch the shitty update and everything, and the logic board died on the whole thing about 12 days ago. This is Thursday and everything, so a little ahead of when I'm going to be posting this whole thing, but about 2 weeks ago, the whole thing just kind of crapped out on me, where I thought it was actually the video card, because it seemed like the exact same series of events that happened 2 years ago when the video card did die. And it was kind of the inverse of the thing where the Apple Store thought it was a logic board, ended up being the video card, ended up being their inverse of the whole thing this time out and everything. And after a long series of goddamn events, and a lot of fucking drama and everything, after trying to hunt down a new video card at Best Buy, trying to get different cables to fit the whole thing, all this type of shit, and going here and there and dropping it off at an independent repair shop, waiting a few more days and getting the diagnosis and finding out at the time that only used parts would be available for a new logic board to be installed in the whole thing, which basically means you got a 9-year-old model, you're putting used parts in the whole thing. It means you're working on borrowed time. You don't know how much more time this is going to last with something that already has a fair amount of miles on it. You don't know how long you got with this whole thing, and it would have cost somewhere around $500 if eventually we did get it'd be like $150 for the used one. The next day he told my dad when he picked it up for me that it'd be about $500 for a brand new one, but we'd already made a decision to go ahead and purchase this refurbished 2017 iMac for myself. And so it arrived Monday. I picked it up at the Apple Store after there was a slight issue with the shipping box being damaged, but nothing inside it actually being damaged. And a whole series of events go off from that point and on. Tried to getting everything transferred over from the old hard drive to new things, import all the information I have. And there was a bit of a software snafu in this whole situation, because since it's a refurbished model, they pretty much wiped the drive, updated the firmware, put in the brand new OS on the whole thing, which is not compatible with Final Cut 7, which I've been using for like 15 years now. And obviously it's been pretty much obsolete for a good 8 or 9 years at this point. So, fact of the matter is, I can't access anything I've ever done on Final Cut 7 ever again. All those project files are completely inaccessible because the software is not supported at all on this new OS. So, that was a really crushing type of thing, especially after all the shit I went through to try to revert it back to an earlier OS, which was not just absolutely positively not possible. So, Monday seems like it's a goddamn week and a half ago at least, and it's only Thursday, so it's been a long goddamn week dealing with this bullshit, getting myself into a new state of mind, new focus, new momentum moving forward, because I do have to decide on a new editing software. I've got to decide whether it's going to be Final Cut 10 or it's going to be Adobe Premiere Pro. So I'm kind of working with both of them at this point in time, and obviously shooting a video like this helps me to have a project to be able to do something and figure out what workflow functions for me best. So by the time this gets posted, I'll at least have an idea which way I'm kind of leaning towards. But I do have to start paying for the Creative Cloud for Photoshop, because before I just started to do all this sort of OS restoration, reversion type of stuff, Photoshop CS4 was working fine. Afterwards, something happened where it just would not function. Oddly enough, my Dreamweaver, which I use to make websites and everything, works fine. I was able to reinstall it, all this type of stuff, no problems. But Photoshop, I'm going to have to pay for Creative Cloud on that, so it's kind of a split between whether I'm going to be paying for 2 apps or whatever I'm going to be doing with that off of the Creative Cloud. But regardless of that, I'll have to be paying for Photoshop off of Creative Cloud in some sort of monthly fashion, subscription service type of stuff. So there's a lot of money on that, and plus my version of my script writing software, Final Draft, is not compatible with the new OS either, so I have to pay $250 to get the newest version. So there's a lot of money I have to push out here, paying off this thing. I've got to pay for the Creative Cloud stuff. I've got to pay for new script writing software. It's a lot of money going out. And so, as always, there is a Patreon available if you guys want to support things, because a lot of stuff was like Patreon goals if I started getting X amount of money per month to be able to afford to get this, but circumstances have forced me to be in the position where I have to have this stuff. I had to exhaust this type of money to be able to get these upgrades and everything, because I don't have any other choice, or else there's nothing. So, fact of the matter is, if you guys want to pitch in a little bit every month or whatnot to throw in a little something, it's there. So if you guys want to help continue to keep things going and be able to have me afford all this shit that's being pretty heavy burden right now, where I didn't expect to be throwing this much cash out at one point in time. I do have a 30-day trial on the Final Draft software, so that at least pushes off a month before I have to pay that much. But so I gotta make decisions on some costly type of things. So if you guys want to throw in, I did make some updates to the Patreon tiers lately. The $1 tier now includes the Fire Cinematic commentary, so it was on the $3 tier. I decided to drop it down to be much more accessible for everyone. So you still get the downloadable audio file archive of everything we've ever recorded and released. And so you get that, plus it's a 1-day early access instead of the 2 days that was on the $3 tier. But I figure it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be quicker to get things out, and plus you still get the bonus of being able to download the files and not have to stream everything off of YouTube if you're not, if you're at the gym or something like that, you're just listening to audio instead of syncing up with the film. You can just download the audio version to your mobile device and everything, and just listen that way. You don't have to burn up streaming, cellular data, stuff like that and everything. It's a lot more convenient. And plus, with the downloadable things, you don't have to worry about ad breaks and whatnot on YouTube. So that's a perk for you there and everything. And the $3 tier, which we'll continue to have the all the Forever Cinematic movie reviews on it, but I was launching up the RavensFilm archive here, which is going to be like a bunch of rare and unreleased stuff, which I was just in the middle of exporting the very first episode of when the computer died on me. But I do have an earlier edit of the whole thing already exported that I can just kind of tweak here and there to make it the way I want it to. Not going to be much of an issue, but I just got to get back into the groove of things to make that happen. So, and that's going to be exclusive to Patreon entirely. It's never going to be made public. So if you subscribe to that $3 tier, you get exclusive content no one's going to see anywhere else. So that's something I plan to do at least once a month, to highlight something from an old project that you might not have seen before, or is rarely seen, or stuff like that, or just something like that. And it's not just going to be like plopping a scene online. It's got to have an introduction, a commentary, something like that for me to kind of give you some background on what happened and how this thing came about, or stuff like that. So it's been kind of a nice thing there to kind of just highlight where I've been in the past, release some stuff for you guys who have supported me over the years, and just have a little insight into bits and pieces of stuff like that that are kind of interesting to talk about, or maybe even a project that I kind of wrote but I never got off the ground or something like that. So it'd be an interesting exploration of things. So the format will kind of change here and there. The first one is kind of like just graphics with a voiceover type of stuff, but sometimes if it's something like a project that didn't get anywhere, I don't have any like footage or video or whatnot to kind of, or stills or whatnot to show, I'll just do something like this on camera to kind of talk about it and stuff like that. So it's going to be kind of a changing format of stuff, but it'll be interesting, it'll be fresh, it'll be kind of cool whatnot to kind of talk about some of the stuff in the past, maybe fuel some things I'm going forward in the future, because there's like certain things I've done in the past that kind of didn't get off the ground, or they kind of crash and burn. It's like, yeah, they're kind of cool concepts. I still kind of like what I did with that and everything, with the scripts I wrote, but it's like, I don't feel like I just want to go back and try to redo it all over again, because it feels like now you're taking on even more time to something that didn't work out in the first place. It failed and it crashed and burned. So it's like, unless there's something like a new element that comes in the play, where I was like, I can have someone fund something in a certain way, a couple $1,000 to throw into a production, someone's willing to invest in the whole thing, yeah, I'd be willing to kind of resurrect an old project like that. But it'd be interesting to talk about all this stuff and everything. But since the last real update and whatnot, which was about a month ago, I had my birthday. About 2 days after the last, the February update, I had my birthday and everything. And my sister got me new camera batteries, because these things are like 6 goddamn years old and they weren't holding a charge or anything and whatnot. And so she got me 2 new batteries with a charger and everything that hold like 7 hours with a charge. So I'm good to go forward on anything else I'm going to do in the future. And I don't have to keep plugging the goddamn thing in the AC adapter. I can run off the battery a lot more now, so, and not worry about things. Because there was the Black Christmas commentary, where I was trying to run the thing, just run it right off the battery for whatever reason, instead of doing the cable and whatnot, and it died partway through the goddamn thing. So there's about like a minute or so gap in there that I mentioned on the upload of that the thing, there was a technical glitch. That was the glitch. The battery died on us, and I had to figure that whole thing out. So that's not going to happen anymore. So regards to that, so there was that, and my sister ended up buying me a DVD copy of my own movie, The Fixer, because had been ordering the complimentary copies for the cast and crew and everything, and it was like going on and on and on. I was like, I don't want to spend money on myself to get a copy. I'm putting all this money into this to order this stuff all the way out, because I still had my Prime membership at the time, so I was just ordering things and getting a little bit kickback on that because I get royalties from the sale and everything. So regardless of that, she got me that and the batteries, and that was cool. And my birthday, I had a tear in my tire, and the thing went flat and it needed to be replaced. I was at work. I was going to have to work that night in the morning. It was going to be a big pain in the ass. So she was like the greatest sister in the world. She came over to work and she picked up my car, took it over to Discount Tire, got the thing replaced and all that type of stuff. And they were under warranty, so it didn't cost much for the one that was ruined. And they replaced the other tire on it too. So she was fantastic doing all this stuff for me. And obviously with the computer, she put it on her 0% 18-month financing on our Apple card or whatnot, or whatever it is, but I am paying that off myself. So that's not a gift, that's something I'm paying for myself. So there's that. So I've got 18 months to pay that off, but I'm hoping to pay it off well ahead of that, but we'll see where the roads of finance roll towards everything with the other software I have to purchase. Might have to be a little bit little lower in the payment than I intended to, but I'll still be well ahead of where I need to be in the long run. But I got Blu-rays here and everything, guys, so let's talk about media pickups, because that's always a fun thing for everyone to delve into. And I got two thrillers here. I got Jack's Back with James Spader from Shout Factory, which came out a couple of years ago. I actually bought kind of a version of this on DVD like a few weeks before they actually announced the title, and not a terribly great transfer on that. Haven't watched this yet, but it's got interviews and commentary from director Rowdy Harrington, who ended up doing Roadhouse, so there's something for you guys there. And a couple other things with director of photography interviews, stuff like that. So I want to really kind of delve back into this and enjoy it and everything. It was always a little too, as Shout Factory things are, a little higher on the price gauge, whatnot, so always kind of like a little hesitant to go forward on it, but I decided to just throw in and grab that and everything. And got the Warner Archive version of Judgment Night here, because from Stephen Hopkins, who did Predator 2 and Elm Street 5 and stuff like that. And so another thriller I always just really kind of liked, another 90s type of 90s film. The other one was 80s, but Dennis Leary. I love Emilio Estevez. I love him. Freejack, as goofy as that film is really damn good in that. He's really damn good in this. Stephen Dorff, Cuba Jr., and stuff like that. So it's like, there's no features on this, but I heard the transfer is absolutely phenomenal. So I really want to delve into some thrillers, and maybe, because I already did a review on this back in like the first year I did reviews on the channel and whatnot, but this could happen. This could be a review I could go for Judgment Night. Just have to revisit it, see how I feel about it, and all that type of stuff. But it's kind of cool stuff. And Die Hard with a Vengeance, I upgraded that from DVD for the eventual commentary we'll do in December. Before that, we're actually going to be doing, because I have been mentioning for months now that I wanted to do a review of Beverly Hills Cop 2. And things kept getting pushed back and things getting rearranged and what I wanted to do. And kind of seemed like it was kind of pushing towards the end of, we needed to figure out what we were going to do for a quarterly commentary for the three-man team between myself, Steve, and Trent. And last time Steve and I were doing the commentaries, we were kind of discussing that, and we came across to decide Beverly Hills Cop Trilogy is kind of something we'd already very well know, good fans of it, and just seemed like a thing to do as a commentary that'd be very popular and very enjoyable for us. So we are going to be doing those. So we'll be getting into that in due time. We're trying to schedule things out as of now. We'll figure out where things land sometime soon. So we're going to start doing that soon and get on with that. But also picked up 2 Jack Ryan films on Blu-ray. Got Patriot Games Clear and Present Danger, and haven't watched Clear and Present on Blu-ray yet, but I watched this, and it's not a good transfer at all. This is a really poor transfer. First off, they artificially sharpened the living shit out of the whole thing, so it just looks just bad. And plus the encode of the whole thing keeps having this pulsating quality to it. Everything, every so often, things just start pulsating on the whole thing. Is really badly encoded. Like I said, overly sharpened, all that type of stuff. It looked really poor. It looked really bad. I'm thinking I'm gonna get rid of this because this, I'm not a fan of how this thing looks at goddamn all. It just looked really poor. I really liked the film, but it looked like crap on Blu-ray. So if you're ever going HD, I would probably suggest getting the Ultra HD version because the 4K disc has a brand new remaster and everything like that. So they got good marks. So hopefully that's a way fucking better presentation of that shit. But never was a huge fan of Clear and Present. It's kind of didn't really kind of click too much, but I felt like I really want to get it to finish off the collection and everything because I already have Hunt for October. I actually love that film. Got that Blu-ray and Laserdisc. And so I might, depending on what this looks like, I might just dump both Blu-rays and stick with the lower quality stuff, the standard def, or go for the Laserdisc on those things and everything. So that's all I got for media pickups at this point in time because obviously once the computer went to shit, I was just like, I was not going to be buying shit that I didn't really need at the point in time. I needed to kind of focus money in more immediate directions there and everything. So it's gonna be a bit like that for a while, but I got plenty of shit to delve into and do reviews of, and we'll see where the next review lands because I've got like maybe like a day and a half off this weekend, and then I've got like another 4 days I gotta work. So end of next week we'll have a lot more time for me to kind of just delve into a project and start working on things. So like the next week is just gonna be me mainly kind of working out where things are gonna land, feeling out which editing software I want to go with, Premiere Pro or Final Cut X, see where things go on that. So I'll be working towards that end to figure out where my workflow is going to flow to and just figure out where things are going to land. So that's really all I got for you guys at this point in time. There's some cool stuff that ended up happening for Hemi because as you know, we are a bunch of wrestling geeks on this channel and everything, and he's probably the geekiest of them all because he's just so deeply involved in this whole thing. He's involved with AEW Pro here in Chicago. He's got 2 wrestling podcasts, and apparently, yes, they did get a song from their latest album, Avalon, signed by Impact Wrestling to promote the next pay-per-view. So that's something that just happened recently. Decay is his track, and if you're at all a fan of Impact Wrestling, they have now struck a deal with them to use their music for promotional purposes. So that's really fantastic. And I'm really happy for him and everything because he was like, sometime months ago or whatnot, he was like, you really wanted to make that happen. And so that was something like, this guy just can't be stopped. When he sets his mind towards something, he's eventually going to get there, man. So it was really fantastic to hear that. And so things are kind of going off in different directions. I'm working on some other little things here and there for other people, but I don't have much to say until things are a little bit more concrete and approved for people and whatnot to really kind of say anything or really kind of release anything or direct people anywhere. So once I confer with people and get things a little bit more concretely about what exactly is good to go, I'll talk more about it in future updates. But that's all I got for you guys at this point in time. I think this is a really good update and get you on track, and we'll see how long it takes me to edit this whole thing, so, and the new software. So thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.